Hey guys, good morning. We're taking a look today at 1 Samuel 4. We see that Israel is in a fight with the Philistines, and they're not doing very good. They're not winning. Israel is not winning. And they are wondering why they're not winning. Well, we go on to, there's also the death of Eli and his sons in here, and there's also the birth of Eli's grandson. In death of his daughter-in-law. But what I want to take a look at is this Israel fighting against the Philistines, and Israel. They're wondering why they're not winning. They're wondering why are they being slaughtered, and they say, "Oh, let's go pull the Ark of the Covenant here. Let's go pull the presence of God here." And so they do that. They go and they pull in from Shiloh the Ark of the Covenant, and they pull in the glory of the Lord, and they shout. They shout and shout and shout, and the Philistines hear this, and well, sort of scares them, takes them back just a little bit, but the Philistines still win. They still win, and I want to look at this for just a little bit. They say right here in verse 3, it says, "Let us bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh to us, that when it comes among us, it may save us from the hand of our enemies." And does God have the power to save? Absolutely. But he didn't hear. He didn't hear. You see, the Israelites decided that it would be easier to bring the Ark of the Covenant and to bring the presence of God there instead of admit their sin, confess to God, and instead of do a work inside themselves, they just said, well, we'll just bring the Ark of the Covenant here and let God do all the work, and we don't have to do anything within ourselves. And, it's quite possible that maybe that's why they lost the war, and God turned his back on them, because they were just a people at this time full of sin, that they were able to do what is right in their own eyes. This is still the time of the judges, and you see that Eli was a judge, and This you see that in verse 18. It says, "And he had judged Israel 40 years." So this was still a time where they were doing what was right in their own eyes. And, we talked about that a few times. And so, but these men, they didn't want to do the work within themselves. And, that reminds me of this other passage. And this is 2 Timothy 3. And it says, "By know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. But from such people turn away." And we see this here with Israel then. They had a form of godliness, but they didn't have any power. So they decided to bring the power and try to manufacture it instead of do what is right and allow the power to grow and develop within them. And it's the same with us. We see that I believe that we are coming to the end of this time. We're coming, and that there are many parts of the body of Christ that do have a form of godliness but deny its power, and that's because of sin, because we allow sin, as we were talking about just the other day, we allow sin to come into our homes, we allow sin to come into our hearts and to come into our lives, and we don't do anything about it. Because it's easier just to throw a cross up on the wall and say that we're holy than to actually deal with what needs to be dealt with. So I pray that you can take a lesson from these guys here today. I pray that I can take a lesson from what we've read today and do something about the sin in your house. You have the power. God is on your side. Are you on his? Have a super day. I love you all.